Right, welcome to the 16.5 final planning sync for the compliance group. And the first part is just to hand it over to Grant, who is the new acting product manager for compliance, to go through the priority list for the features.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, Nate. And first, I'll just say hello to the compliance team. I look forward to working more closely with you guys. Um, I've been working with Nate on the priorities here, and we are going to be focusing on first our compliance adherence report. So this will help with defining separation of duties for software development. We'll be kind of calling out some kind of key standards and aspects like multiple approvals for merge request. So this isn't going to be accounting for any specific compliance framework per se, but these are kind of common requirements that you'll see globally across many different compliance frameworks, um, and also really advantageous from a security standpoint to highlight. So that's going to be a really awesome step and improvement towards identifying more individual or specific compliance framework standards and kind of building out that more robust reporting. So this will be an MVC and a starting point for that effort. The next one is one that I know the team's been working on a little bit here already. This is the SAML SSO support for merge request approvals. So today and for some time, we've had support to require passwords for merge request approvers. And we have customers who are already kind of storing information in their SAML groups to be able to authenticate, and they'd rather not store passwords in GitLab. So this is a bit more of a secure approach and more common approach that a lot of customers will um, get a lot of use and advantage out of. So looking forward to that as well. Um, I know that we do have a little bit of a technical debt item here around how we're storing data for audit events in our current databases, and we want to optimize and be able to address potential performance concerns further out in the future. So this effort to move to ClickHouse Cloud is going to really set us up for success, and hopefully we can also really consolidate and narrow down how we're storing events into like more single or more optimized database structure. So that's going to be a huge improvement. Let's see, retrying failed external status checks. A lot of our customers, if they have especially external tooling that they're using, they can create a middleware API and be able to kind of block merge requests based on some input from an external system. So a common one might be ServiceNow, where they're handling maybe some compliance checks. So they can leverage status checks to to enforce compliance or to enforce some certain approvals. But when they get stuck, when they're intermittent errors or issues, it can be a bit of a pain or burden if they get hung up. So this will make it easier for teams to retry those status checks. Last couple here, compliance violation exports. We have the ability to view in the UI lots of details around compliance violations, but this will introduce an option to export a robust set of data that you can really go deeper into and drill down, break down to see exactly what you want, or work on aggregating it into external systems. So that's going to add a lot of flexibility for customers who are monitoring those violations. And then the last one is integration with third-party storage systems. So we have GCP logging. We are working on adding support for AWS as a streaming destination and a number of others. So we'll continue our work towards that. I'll pass it back to you, Nate.
Yeah, and I'll go down to the more detailed breakdown of how this plans out. So, as Grant mentioned, the adherence report is our top priority at the moment. The MVC is on track to be delivered in 16.5. It's currently behind a feature flag at the moment, and there's documentation on that as well, which is good. And then we'll start work into some of the small improvements, such as grouping the adherence report checks and having the export to be able to drill down deeper into that report and sort it out outside of the UI. The next one was the SAML SSO auth. So we'll just continue working on this one. There's the backend APIs have been started. We want to have the front end in place as well, but just not the settings to enable this feature just yet. The migration to ClickHouse Cloud, we're currently doing the load testing. So once we have that out of the way, we'll be working on nailing down the strategy and initiating the data transfer from the current database through to ClickHouse Cloud. And then we can start doing testing within the staging environment there, and just also create the model so we can start migrating across some of the queries. The retry, failed status checks, and violations export. So both of these are in the final stages of development. So we want to complete and release both of these. Violation export might make it into 16.4 actually, but we're just on the edge of our seat there. Default branch protection. This is something that's been going on in the background, and we hope to release this as well, or all the non-breaking work. There's one piece to remove the current settings that will wait for 17.0. Next one is streaming audit events to AWS S3. So we're going to continue on with this and want to release the group level, this at the group level in 16.6. So we want to have the APIs in place and the front end started in 16.5. Streaming audit events to Google Cloud logging. We currently have this at the group level, but we want to enable this at the instance level. That's in the final stages of development as well. So we want to release that in 16, hopefully going to release that in 16.5. The next priority was the compliance frameworks. So we have done solution validation and design on improving the report and how we integrate it with things like adherence report and security policies. So we're going to start work on the MVC for this in 16.5. The next one was streaming audit events by sub-project or projects. This is a feature that's been asked after a little bit. And so we've halfway through building it out at the moment. We want to have most of the APIs created in 16.5 and then enable it in 16.6. The next one is the headers for HTTP streaming destinations. There's an the ability to activate or deactivate them so that you can test and turn on your headers. So we want to complete and release that in 16.5. And the final two is just increasing our audit events that we have within the system and also our test coverage. And that's just a continuation that we continue every milestone. So we'll just keep working on more issues there. But anything else to add, Grant? Otherwise, I'll stop the recording.
No, I don't believe so. Thanks for walking through that, Nate. Really appreciate it.